Hey everyone, welcome back to the Team Empire podcast. You're here with your host Shannon, and I have yet another of our new pros on, but as you can probably tell if you're watching on YouTube, there's two people here. So we have New Zealand's newest IFBB Bikini Pro, it's a big mouthful, Christel De Klerk, and her coach, Logan Robson IFBB Pro. How are you guys?
So good.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I was saying before, you guys are probably both so busy with different things, of course, both athletes and lots going on. But we want to talk all about it. And I'm going to go between the two of you so we can get little insights from both of your mindsets and what's been going on. But first, Christel, you did it. You got the pro. Everyone is so excited. And everyone was like, it was so exciting for the end of the day. You were the last one. Tell us how you're feeling. How are you? How was the show? Just tell us all your thoughts.
Oh my goodness. Where do I even start? I guess honestly, it's still getting used to the idea. Even it's been 2 weeks, I'm still getting used to the idea. But it's kind of like I said, you're starting at the bottom of the ladder now, and I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity, and it's a privilege to be part of the Pro League now and try and work towards first pro show. It's a thing, so it's kind of wrapping your head around that, and now suddenly you feel like a little fish in this really, really, really large ocean. But yeah, just grateful and very excited for it. Absolutely.
And it was a long day for you, hey, because like I said, it was right at the very end of the two national shows, and you were on right at the end of the open class, and I did the national review with Frank, and I was like, Christel came up at the very end, almost the last class of the day, and then just took it out. But was it a long day for you, or were you kind of just chilling out the back? What was it like?
Honestly, it was a long day, but it was a very, very fun day because backstage, everyone was in a very chipper mood. Everyone had a good time. And I had a friend that came up from Christchurch as well that was competing, and her and I just spent the entire day hanging out backstage. And truly, thank you, Rata. Honestly, you just made the day so special. And I feel like it makes the biggest difference when you've got good company and there's just a bunch of friends hanging out and posing and having a laugh backstage. So it felt like it went by so quickly. And then I was trying to remember to do the check-in photos for this one as well. I'm like, am I still good? Am I still okay? It's a thing trying to get the food the whole day, balancing the food.
Yeah, we're so used to, I guess, working with people, more so in Australia, but around the world. There's so many people on it between, 9 a.m. till 2 o'clock, pre-judging's finished. So obviously that being the most important part out of the way first. But so then I think we went on at, what was it, 8:30, 9 o'clock?
Yeah, it was about between 7 to 8, yeah.
So every hour we would check in, every 2 hours I think we had videos, and this one can chew up the food, so we had to keep adding more carbs, so yeah.
Not a bad problem to have though. We're happy with that.
Yeah. Some people have to stop eating, this one has to keep going.
We'll take it. Yeah.
She ate more food than some of my super heavyweight boys on the day.
Good girl. Went all to the glutes, we could tell. The delts. Logan, tell us a bit about you. Because just for our New Zealand listeners that might not be 100% sure of who you are, what you do. So obviously you're a coach. That's probably first off. You're an IFBB Pro. Tell us all about yourself.
Yeah, so we'll do a condensed version because it's a pretty long history in all of it. But first off, I was actually born in New Plymouth.
Wow.
Yeah, Tarrant. So I was born over there, and I was there till I was 12, and then we moved to Australia, to the Gold Coast, and I've been here ever since. So that's an interesting one. Seeing as though most people will be the Kiwis tuning in. But I started training when I was 16, 17. I was sort of national level in soccer and sprinting, and then just wanted to get stronger for those sports, and the gym sort of took over and the sport stopped over the next 2 years, and I think I competed by the time I was a week off my 18th birthday. Wow. Yeah, so nice and young, which was very different back 20 years ago as well. And then fell in love with it, and I think I competed for 3 years as a teenager and junior and won 2 world titles over in Scotland and Germany. And then competed every 2 or 3 years since.
No.
Came close to winning my pro card at the Arnold's about 3 times, coming second. Always getting picked by someone from overseas. And then fast forward to 2019, and I won my pro card over in the Amateur Olympia in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I won the heavyweights there against 30 guys in my division and won my pro card there, which was pretty cool. I think I was the first Aussie to do that at the time. Yeah. And then COVID hit. So that was only 4 or 5 months later. So I wasn't able to do a pro debut for a few years. Not that I was rushing it anyway. I was always going to take a couple of years anyway. And since then, I've done was one of 20 in the world invited to do the Masters Olympia when it came back after 12 years last year. And I placed 9th, which was actually my pro debut, against some of the guys that have all been in the Olympia before and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. And then I got 3rd in a Masters Pro show against 25 guys 5 weeks later. And now it's now, and I don't know what the plans are.
And we're going to stay tuned for what's next.
Everybody else.
Yeah, same boat. Pick a show and both of you can jump in.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What a cool story, though. That's such a cool, awesome story. And I bet for Christel, I bet it's so cool for you to have a coach like that. That's not only like just a pro, but someone who's done the yards and like obviously been through it all. And from like, you know, how you said it, like 20 years ago, like it has changed and evolved. Even since you've been doing it, Christel, it's probably changed a bunch. But what is it like having a coach like Logan?
Oh, he's such a hard ass. But honestly, Logan, he's such just a collected and calm and stable personality. And because he's got all of this experience and has basically seen everything, I feel like I can just draw from that a lot. And being the personality that he is as well, I kind of feed off of that energy. And I feel like that helps my prep so much as well, because if he's happy, I'm happy, you know? So I think it's pretty cool that he's done so much, because you've got that respect, you know. There's this kind of like, he's earned the stripes, so whatever he says goes.
Yeah, it's easy to follow when you're like, I know you've done it, so yeah, that respect level, hey, is like, it means so much more. So I totally get that. And if any of you guys out there don't follow Logan, I'll put his link in the description. Go check him out. Holy crap! I was looking at your pinned post and I was like, the guy's lats, and they're like, it's just mental. I love it. I can't wait to see you at the Olympia one day. You know, it's going to be sick. So follow along, because I get Logan's going to go all the way. Let's carry on to talk about Moes Muscles, babe. So you did Moes Muscles last year. We did it together, and that was my favorite show of the season. And you took it out, overall champ, as she does, and that was your qualification for the nationals that just came and went, and that you won your pro card. So you hadn't competed for that whole time. It was a full year. Tell us about that year. Was it good? Was it great? Like, did you have a great off season? Was that plenty of time for you to do everything you needed and all of that stuff? Tell us all about it.
Oh my goodness. Was it a year? Yes, so it was a very long time between the shows, but at the same time, it felt like it went by so quickly because so much happened this year. And poor Logan, I really threw everything at him. Because so in May, so my husband's brother got married. We went to England, and then we had a little bit of a European trip, and you know, prep was just starting. We were in the beginning phase of that. So now I'm traveling. And look, I was controlled, but by no means was I on plan. So we had that bit. And then we went back. I got sick all up for a month this whole year with just getting a flu and vaccines gone wrong and a whole bunch of things. But so there was a whole bunch of sickness. And then, of course, I decided to move country and pack up my entire life and start a new course. So I'm studying nursing. So I've condensed it all. And the fact that we even got to the end is a bit of a miracle. And I'm just grateful for this one that is he's just taken everything that I've thrown at him and somehow made it work. And we got to the end. And somehow built through all of that as well. So it's a long year, but so much has happened that it felt like I just blinked, and the show was here again. So it's pretty packed.
A lot. You've managed to fit a lot in that year. We'll talk about it as we go through, of course. And we've got some questions from Instagram about bits and pieces along the way. Someone did ask, did you think about doing another show as like a warm-up show? Were you a bit nervous just to jump straight into nationals, or were you like, nah, I've got it, I'm fine, I'm confident kind of thing?
Oh my goodness, I had such FOMO watching everyone compete the whole year through, or most of the year through. I was just, I really had to bite my tongue and control myself not to go and jump into another show. But then also on the other flip side of it, I was here, so flying back and flying back and flying back, and it was just not going to be practical. But I was a little bit nervous just jumping straight into nationals, and I haven't done kind of a show to warm up and get the rust off. But hey, it worked out in the end, so I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, it all worked out, no issues at all. But yeah, those nerves, I feel like the person who asked it was probably like, oh, a little bit nervous just jumping straight in. But of course you're going to be, especially when you're like, I'm coming for the pro card, so you had to fuck it up. Let's talk to you, both of you. Okay, I want to get both of your opinions about your off season, Christel. So what was the goal that you were trying to achieve? Like, what were you trying to, I don't know, touch up? Everyone's got their spots and the areas or whatever. So maybe we'll start with you, Logan. What was the feedback, or what were you trying to work on with Christel over this off season in terms of building or tweaking, things like that?
Yeah, well, it was hard with her, as she said, ducking in between countries and all sorts of those things, and sicknesses in between. So we probably had, 7 months together, 8 months together?
Yeah, that long. About there. I think I started about February. Was it February, March that I started with you? Yeah, it's roughly about there.
But basically, just looking back at her photos from last season, obviously she gets lean quite comfortably, and holds that well. But it was all about getting a fuller physique, much bigger, fuller glutes, just a little bit of overall growth everywhere. So we kept her food high all through her traveling, and just tried to grow and improve those areas that she needed for the stage.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with a lot of people's training these days. People, if you're an athlete and you want to compete, you need to tailor your training to your physique on stage. And I think too many people just train their strong body parts and what they enjoy, which is usually their strong body parts, and no one's looking at their overall physique to make those improvements for next time they're on stage.
Yeah. Or they're just kind of they've been given those programs by their coach, but they favor those workouts. Like maybe they've got good quads, but they need glutes, and they're favoring quads, and they just don't favor glutes. But it's really training with that intention, following a plan. It's probably a good one. A lot of people don't follow.
Especially because half the body parts are the ones that need improving, the ones they don't enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So always
Damn it. And how did the growing go? So you've obviously seen her results and everything that you guys have achieved. Was it like, oh, cool, we actually did a pretty damn good job with the time we had? Are you pretty stoked?
Yeah, we did, especially managing, obviously, all the travel. She already had all that pre-booked, so there was no change in any of that stuff. So, it's like some countries aren't easy. Like Italy, it's hard to find gyms or decent gyms. Obviously, every country brings its own foods, nutrition, so it's just managing what you can take. So she would travel with taking a lot of her own cream of rice and things like that. Use half her weight up of her suitcase in cream of rice and protein powder, and just things that you can fall back on no matter what, so there's no excuses.
Yeah.
And then using whatever country you're in to your advantage as well. So things like when she went to Italy, it was just obviously the good thing about holidays is you keep your steps up. If you missed a little bit of training, we just use that for recovery. And then obviously once you're back and settled, you can push things and emphasize trying to grow again.
Yeah.
Well,
and we really accomplished that, because last time I stepped on stage, I was 53 and a half. And this time, I was between 54 and 55.
Nice.
Yeah, when you're full of about 55 kilos.
Yeah.
So probably 2 kilos in a year. Yeah. In the right places.
In the right places, yeah. Same conditioning, everything was great. Yeah, I love it.
It was when we went back to talking about doing a warm-up show, it would have been nice, especially because we hadn't worked together before. But yeah, with all the traveling and that, it didn't permit. So I'm glad we got it pretty damn good the first try.
Yeah, and what was so great is that we actually had an opportunity to do a little bit of a mock peak and you can kind of saw how my body responded. So that really helped a lot for you to just know.
Yeah, because we were in a good spot condition-wise. So a couple of weeks out, we were able to do a fairly decent load, and which was good because I realised how much her body could take and how much filling she needs. So yeah, all that was a positive.
Yeah, yeah.
It would have been cool to do another show as well, but we did think about rushing into a pro show just to see where she fit. But again, timelines don't always work out, so we'll save that for next year.
Yeah, gonna hold back again. Yeah.
Plenty of time, babe. You got plenty of time, you know.
Oh, was it tempting though? Because I mean, there's some good shows that was right around the corner, and they're not too far. Oh, maybe, but.
You need to set up one of those tours where you can do like a whole bunch of pro shows in one sort of go and just get it all out. Like just go to the States like Kate Carroll and do 5 in a row, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of feels like if you're going to travel that far, it's really great to pack as many in as you can, you know.
Yeah.
And kind of then you also get exposure to the coaches and everyone there, and you can really see how you stack up against the sampling that is out there and not just one show, because athletes differ from show to show, right? So yeah.
More opportunity. Be seen in front of the judges as well. They want to see you again and again. They start to remember who you are, and it's always like, oh, that Kiwi chick, you know, get her up there again. Yeah. Get yourself out there. It'll happen when the time is right, and I'm sure we'll hear all about it. And we'll talk more about that soon, about your next plans. What's your, speaking of training, what's your favorite muscle group to train, Christel? What do you like to do?
I honestly, I love training back. Because I know every Bikini Pro girl probably says glutes, but I love training back because it's one of those, it's just a fun day where I can just go ham and train all the stuff that I love. But I should probably learn to love glutes more.
Too much effort. We should love.
Especially if you go to do them 3 days a week, it starts getting a bit boring too. Like, how much can things differ?
How many hip thrusts can you do?
Yeah.
Speaking of, there was actually a question from Instagram. What's your hip thrust PB?
All right. So, a little caveat with that. I can probably, if I really, really push myself, I can probably do 4 plates a side, which is not even that much because I see girls do so many more than that. But I honestly do just a plate, 20 kilo or 40 kilograms in total, and I put a band across my knees, and I just really sit in every single rep, and it hurts. It really, really hurts, but it works. Because I feel like when I go too heavy, it's just my back. I cannot actually engage my glutes anymore. So I pulled it back and I do little princess weights, but it works.
It works. And what do you think about that, Logan? Are you all about like tempo and volume, or like volume, or what's your sort of technique when it comes to growing glutes for Christel?
Yeah, especially with glutes, it's a little bit more, squeezing and execution over just sheer weight and volume. So everything with a little pause and full range of movement, and heavy within reason, but not too crazy, because everyone just uses their momentum and their lower back and other muscles, and your glutes are doing about a quarter of the work. So
yeah, 15 good reps is better than 4 shit heavy ones, and that. So rather do the 15, just burn it out. It sucks, but we're all in the same boat, aren't we, girl? Any girls? Okay, let's talk about Australia. Moving to Aussie, because when you did the pod with me last year, you were kind of back and forward, and I was wondering, and I think I asked you in that pod, are you going to move there? And at that time, you weren't moving or anything like that, and now you're there. Tell us like where you are and why you moved, and are you loving it over there?
Yeah. All right. So I know it was a developing year for sure. In the sense of trying to find a way and find what we're going to do. I did travel here to Australia so many times, but then I found the opportunity to study nursing. So I enrolled in that course and I got accepted, which is just so cool. So I moved to come and study and live now. We are in a Gold Coast, and it's the best decision that I could ever have made. It is honestly, even me and my husband, we're both just so happy being here. It's wonderful being in the warmth, and there's a culture here, people they love the gym and they love looking after themselves. So there's a competing culture of everybody looks like they're a bodybuilder. So I feel like that's quite inspirational, that being surrounded in that energy, you feel like you want to step up as well. So I feel like I'm a kid in the candy store.
Just loving every minute, because it's a bit different in New Zealand. Hey, everyone does keep to themselves. Everyone's quite introverted, especially in the bodybuilding scene. There's not a lot. This is why I'm doing this, because like there's no one else really making a community of it. So it's like going over there, everyone's quite open and happy, and they share everything and stuff like that. So I can see that difference. It's like a different grind, but nice for you to have the variance of the two, hey, and just like have that different sort of lifestyle. Do you think you'll be there for like long term, and do you think you'll ever come home, or is it just going to be where you are for now?
For now, definitely going to be here. I mean, we still do have a life in New Zealand as well, work and everything on that side. So it kind of is between the two countries. But my course is, I'm committed for the next 4 years working through it. So for me, I kind of, I'm here for that. But we still have a house on the other side, family on the other side, business, all of those things. So it does feel a little bit split in some ways, yeah.
If we had a Bikini Pro show here, would you be coming back for that?
Yes. I would love for that to happen. Please. That would be really, really cool. Because I've always, and not throwing shade on anyone at all. The locals need to go and compete at the local shows so that the promoters have a reason to put them on. Otherwise, if nobody shows up, then they're wasting a lot of money trying to put a show on. So I've kind of preached that, and I'll keep to my word as well and show up and really support local as well. And hopefully we get more shows, because that would be really great.
It'd be so good, because there's none in Aussie either, is there? I don't know when the last bloody Flow Show or Pro Show was over there. I wish you guys would do some more there as well. I think New Zealand's doing more than Aussie at the moment. But do you know anything about that, Logan? Do you know why you guys don't do pro shows over there at the moment?
Yeah, so we haven't had we've had the bikini class put on twice since 2019, so 2020 since COVID, and a men's physique just once, and they were both a few years ago. So yeah, we've had no men's open, so I would love that for myself, because I haven't been able to compete, and I'm nearing my end of the years with my own competing as well, so I would love to compete in front of friends, family, peers. That's all obviously a little bit easier to do than traveling to the other side of the world. I'm hoping that, I don't think it'll happen in next year, but hopefully we get something back next year. They lost a lot of money on the Arnold Classics and things like that didn't go ahead in 2020. So they've just been building things back up, concentrating on national shows or state and national shows. And they're just going from strength to strength, bigger and bigger every year. So now it would be nice for those amateurs to actually watch firsthand a full pro show or half a pro show to start even, and just see those athletes up close, because it's so much more inspirational when you get a feel for what those athletes actually look like, because as we know, it's even more impressive than just on a screen.
Yeah. You were in Vegas this year as well, and you actually, you took a whole team over that competed at the amateurs, and you got a pro card there too. So congrats on that. Actually, you've got 3 pro cards this whole year, which is pretty damn great. But like you got to see all of the athletes up close, and that's.
Yeah, and I haven't been over myself for 5 years. I've been to the Olympia 5 times before, and just love it every time. And this year was bigger and better, being the 60th anniversary, and like I said, I hadn't been for 5 years, so that was really cool. And took a team over of 5 athletes, and we won the Bodybuilding Pro card, which was really cool, kind of coming full circle from me winning that 5 years before. And yeah, it was just a great trip. So I'd be definitely interested in taking over a team again next year. And but as a bodybuilding enthusiast, people just need to go and watch that stuff and support it more, and support even pro shows and voice that they want those things about.
Yeah.
The more we want it, the more we've got to be involved with it, right? And not complain about buying a damn ticket. Like, come on, are you joking? Like, get yourself, pay your $50 and get to the damn show. But it was cool having like Moes Muscles that we did the first show last year. That was the first one, and they've had the classic guys over. Just had it last weekend with the classic and men's physique, and it's just like cool to even watch it. You know, see the Olympia qualifications going out. It's so big and it's so motivating. Not even I'm not even the same gender, and I'm still like, fuck yeah, I want to get up there. You know, we're having a 212 pro show here next year, which is going to be really cool because we've never had one of those before. Hopefully they'll add open to that, but I don't know. We'll just.
We have some great 212 pros. Aaron Polites, Cam George, that have all done well overseas this year, so I'm sure they would be straight into that show. Not to mention a few others as well. So you probably get 5 Aussies in there.
Yes, push our boys, get them going. You know, to be so.
I think I can make it down to 212.
Yeah. A little bit of weight. Don't know if we'll make it there, Logan, but worth a try.
Slightly too tall, unfortunately.
Yeah. You might have to come over anyway if there's Bikini Pro show added to that.
Oh, yeah.
Do some guest posing for us. You never know.
Yeah, well, we've also won the men's physique at nationals. My client Chris, so he won the men's physique pro card. So he's looking at the New Zealand show as well next year. So we should be there for that too.
Love it. Look, us Kiwis are holding it down. You Aussies come over here and do it if you want. You know, at least it's not far to go. It's a lot easier.
Exactly.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Christel, how's your like? Tell us about your post show. Like mental health. Are you feeling all good? Reverse. How's it all going in that sense?
Yeah. Well, okay. Mentally, I'm in a really, really great place with that. And I guess I mentioned before, I think that it doesn't feel like prep has ended. It just feels like I'm in a new phase of it now, working for the next show. So I don't have that, because sometimes post show you feel like, well, what am I doing now? You know, this whole goal that you had that you're working towards is just gone suddenly, and you can feel a little bit lost in that sometimes. So for me, I have my goal. I'm already set on it. I don't have diet fatigue or anything like that. So it's fairly, it just feels natural and easy for me to keep going. And I'm very, very grateful for that, because I also feel with Logan's coaching that I worked hard, obviously, but it wasn't that kind of prep where you're pushed to the ground, kind of like almost cracking side. So because of that, rebounding out of it, it's not as hard for me this time, and I'm able to really stick to plan fairly easy, and I'm grateful for that, because it's really helping getting out of it and building the calories back up and things like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're doing really, really well, actually. Loving it.
I was talking about this off camera, but the pro card, I feel like, will just keep you going that little bit more, you know, from an amateur show. Do you feel like because everyone's going through it right now, you've probably seen it all over Instagram, all the girls from New Zealand, oh my God, my reverse, I've been eating everything for 2 weeks. Like, maybe I'll throw it to you, Logan. Like, what are your thoughts on reverse diets and people just struggling hard? Is it sometimes a sign maybe they've got the work to do before doing bodybuilding, you know, with food wise, or is it just part of the process? Like, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on reverse dieting.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed kettle of fish, isn't it? And some of the people that are most diligent and nail their preps can be the worst coming out. They just get a taste for that food and the adrenaline response, and they just can't pull it back. The end goal is not there anymore. So they really struggle to pull it back and, what's the words, adjust to the hormones and adrenaline release again. And yeah, sometimes even the best of us really, really struggle. Especially if we didn't get the result we wanted as well, or have immediate plans. Like, I've got a girl at the moment who's got a wedding in 5 weeks, so she's absolutely nailing it, because she's come out of a show and she's got her next goal already set in stone, and it's a big one, looking good for her wedding. Not comp condition, but close to. And same with this one, as you mentioned, like, what more motivation do you need than winning a pro card and being preparing for your next pro show? No matter how far it is, it's motivating right now.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just important to set those next goals, whether they're short or long, but even just some short-term ones. Even do a shoot 4 to 6 weeks later instead of doing it like, you know, right before the show or right after the show. Just little things like that to try and keep things going.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great idea. Just little things that whatever works for you. You know, everyone will be a little.
Exactly.
But for me, I didn't have trouble with my reverse because as soon as I got off the stage, the next show was my next plan. So I kind of already had another goal. It's the next show, you know? So I think people just kind of, there's no break. Like, why are we throwing out, you know, like you don't need to just throw in the towel and eat everything. The next goal is to build and do that properly. So I feel like as a more understanding about bodybuilding, the more you'd understand how to get yourself out of that. And I think
every single person does it better and better each time.
For sure.
You learn more, you know when to pull it back if you are being a bit silly, things like that. Sure. I think too many people just, you know, and it might be, as you said, like they're just jumping into it all too soon or for the wrong reasons, for social media or whatever. One of my pet peeves is people who want to do a show who have never even been to a show. Or at least, you know, watched it online. Yeah. Like, how much do you know about a show if you've never even seen one? And they're like, what division do I want to do? And like, you should know these things before you get there. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's just a little gripe in line. But now I'm a little off track. That's what I was even saying. But yeah, jumping into those wrong reasons and then they don't have the right reasons after either. So, you know, it's simple mathematics at the end of the day with the reverse. Like, you know, we pull back things 20, 15%, a little less cardio, add the same in food, monitor that for a couple of weeks, then do the same. And that's not to allow, we can still do that 80-20. It doesn't have to be like prep. It doesn't have to be 100%. And yeah, just keep monitoring things that way. Too many people just like, oh, I can't wait to finish cardio. I want to stop it completely. You know, that's 700 calories that day they don't burn. Then they go and eat their normal diet plus another 1,000, and suddenly you're in a 2,000 calorie surplus. Yeah. And then they wonder, like, why did I get so stuck so quick? You know, it's not really hard to work it out if you break it down.
100%.
But it's what they're telling themselves as well. You've got to take that accountability for yourself, and be real with yourself as well.
And also, I think your approach to how you view off season and on season, because I feel like a lot of people off season is like, oh, I am off. You know, I'm not a competitor anymore. Like off season is almost going into that realm that they don't behave like a competitor anymore. And I feel like once you kind of click over in mentally that there really is no off season ever. It's just a different phase to the season. There's the building phase, there's a cutting phase, there's maybe a resting phase, things like this, but you're always a competitor. You're always a bodybuilder. And it comes down to your love. Do you love doing this? And I think if you kind of click over into that mindset where you're doing this because you just genuinely, dieting doesn't feel like a chore and it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It's just life. I think that makes it a lot easier. I feel definitely for me, as I've grown through the years, I've kind of developed into that mindset, and that's made all the difference for me.
Yeah, it'll definitely tell you if bodybuilding's for you or not, if you don't manage to adjust to that. Maybe it's just not for you. And some people just end up jumping out of it and going, oh, bodybuilding sucks and it ruined my life. And it's like, fuck, it wasn't bodybuilding. You weren't made for it. Or try a different federation, or, you know, IFBB is the top notch. You know, we don't want to be jumping in there again if you haven't watched a show or anything. It's just like, you know, maybe it's just not for you. But reverses are just hard in general, aren't they? But I'm sure that, like as you said, they get easier with time and practice, and it's just something that we just have to go through, and sometimes we've got to suck it up. Just there's not nothing else to say. Just suck it up and just get it done. Let's talk about posing, babe, because you've been with my gal Ree doing your posing.
Yes, such a fan.
From last year to this year, tell us all about your posing. Have you been practicing much? Tell me all about it.
Wow. So Rhiannon she's been so good for me, and I am very, very excited to keep working with her and develop a pro routine. This last couple of weeks, I've taken a break from posing, but so kind of the mistake that I made this year, getting into my show, really a mistake. It's kind of life that so much happened all the time that usually I start posing at the beginning of prep, and I do posing throughout the whole year. This prep, my posing started more towards the middle of it, and so Rhiannon, I mean, she's a magic worker. So we had a condensed period of time that we worked together, and she made it happen and helped me develop. I mean, it's night and day, my posing this year for any previous years. So we've managed to do that. But going into my next show, I'm basically, because she's having a fantastic holiday right now, so I'm leaving her alone. I'm not going to bother her while she's away. But the moment she's back, I'd love to start working basically now with her and have regular posing sessions throughout the whole year, so that by the time we get to the pro stage, it's natural. It's like walking, you know. I feel like that's quite the key. It's just it's as important as your eating and your training. You've got to do it from the start.
Yeah, because you didn't have a posing coach until you jumped on with Ree, I don't think, is that right? And so do you feel like that's been a massive difference, and did you wish you did it sooner, or has it just worked out the way it should have?
Well, I've had posing coaches the years before. So this year I've had Ree. The year before that I was just kind of winging it by myself, and then previous before that I've had posing coaches. Doing it just myself, don't do that. You know, like, get a coach. It's important because you just don't see things. You think you do, but honestly, I realized you miss little details, and then afterwards you're like, how blind was I? Honestly, this is so obvious. How did I not even see that? So stupid little mistakes. But that's definitely get a coach. Get a coach and get them early.
Just do it.
I'm going to just go back to my other point for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Don't leave your coach in the reverse. Unless you've had a horrible prep and there's other reasons, keep being accountable. Like, so many people just drop off the second it's finished. And I know, like, I try and keep it that they work with me for 4 to 6 weeks post-show, no matter what. And still, so many of them just ghost you. And, you know, you've checked in okay for the last 20 weeks, so why can't we manage another 4 to 6 weeks, you know? So that was just something that entered my mind. That is a big thing.
Yeah, keeping that accountability. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Because this morning I'm here, and the first thing I'm like, am I fat now? You know, and it helps. It definitely makes such a difference. Yeah.
And don't be embarrassed, hey, Logan. I feel like they might drop off because they're a little embarrassed. Like, fuck, I ate a whole 3 pizzas yesterday. I better not tell him about it. Or he's going to know from my pictures or something. But you're not going to care, really. You're going to be more happy with the transparency. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, I think that's it. I still do skin folds with my athletes that are in person. So they're like, I don't want my skin folds done. I don't want this. I'm holding heaps of water. And, well, it is what it is. I'm here to help you fix it and improve it. And, don't be embarrassed. And don't, there's full transparency. And that's it with coaching, full stop. Like, don't hide things from your coach. If you have a little mishap, if you didn't, even if it's just missing some sessions or cardio, just be 100% with your coach. Because if I'm starting to wonder why things aren't changing, but you're doing 90%, then, you know, I can't make those changes or help improve things. Yeah. So always be honest. And even with posing, everything like that, the biggest word in bodybuilding is consistency. Mm-hmm. Consistency to your food, your nutrition, consistency to cardio. Everyone can train hard. Like, you know, training, I think, sometimes gets made to be a too big a component in all of this. You know, if you can train as hard as you want, if your nutrition is subpar, you're not going to grow or improve or whatever you're trying to do at the time. Same with cardio. Same with, I guess the biggest thing we're finding now is, you know, it doesn't pay to be hardcore all the time. It doesn't matter if your session was 4 hours. It doesn't matter if you train 7 days a week. That's actually detrimental. That means you're not training hard enough. So I think because that's where I come from, the old school as well. I've been in this for over 20 years. So I think that benefits the clients as well. I've been through all the different phases. Every 5 years, there's big changes, you know, don't eat carbs after 4 o'clock and do this. And so I've seen it all change, and I've had to adapt over time as well. There's too many old school coaches too that are still stuck in the old school and not adapting and learning. And you've got to keep learning and keep educating yourself, you know. It's so different now what we're doing to 5, 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. So the competitors should be thankful for that, because dieting used to be a lot more horrible than it is now.
Yeah, all the things.
Yeah, so
just look at all the protein powder flavors that we've got now. It's heaven. I don't know how you guys did it in the old days, just egg whites.
That was the best one I did. Me and two friends, we got 15 kilos of pure egg white powder. And it didn't matter what you did. You could blend that with banana, peanut butter, other protein powder. It was just like a paste. So no one's got anything to complain about these days.
Oh, we're such princesses now, eh? Like, oh, we've only got 5 flavors to choose. Like, shut up and eat your fucking chicken. Come on, like.
That's what's good either with myself, and I'm not saying your coach has to have been a top level competitor or even a competitor, but it helps when your coach can say basically, I'm not asking you to do anything I haven't done before. So I think that helps too, because when I say it or when I ask it, I've done it, and I'm asking for a reason. And because sometimes I'll talk to you like, you don't know how it feels, and I'm like, I've done it a damn straight harder than you have before.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I love it. And the hardest division possible too. So like no one's got anything to say about anything. So.
Right. And honestly, what you were saying before about that training intensity, it's not all about how hard you train. And the intensity doesn't define how good a bodybuilder you are. That is so, so true, because that is the biggest difference that I've made this year in my training. I used to I train balls to the wall, kind of go ham. And I think I did it so much and it trained so often as well. I never actually gave my body time to recover and rest. And I had to learn the hard way that your body cannot grow in a state of inflammation. And so this year, you've given me rest days. And if I'm feeling, man, I just can't train today, I need to rest, you've been so supportive of that as well. That's fine. It's important to allow your body to recover, and night and day difference.
Sometimes it means you're supposed to train that day and you need to sleep or have a nap. Well, it's got to be done sometimes. I'm not saying too often, but you got to listen to the body, and a good coach can read a body and set those things in, or else, once the body gets into that state of, I guess, lack of a better term, starvation and things like that, you won't improve anyway. So better to pull back for a day or two to take those steps forward.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Well, I try and program no more than 3 days training for most people, because if you're training hard for 3 days in a row, you probably need a rest day. So often it's 2 or 3 days on, 1 day off. And I used to train 7 days a week because I was in the gym 7 days a week, so I would just train anyway. And then it was hard to step back from that. Sometimes the hardest thing is taking a step back and having those rest days, or
what do you do with yourself?
Yeah. And then because we're so used to keeping our structure each day, and you want training in there because that's what sets the times and the tone for the day.
100%.
But that's where 1 day a week I'll try and have them do active recovery, or at worst it might be calves and abs or something like that, or go and get your treatment. That's another massive one that I think a lot of people neglect. I know it costs more money, but spending that time on getting that remedial therapy and stuff like that. Because again, if a muscle's too tight and too shut down, it's not going to grow or improve as well. So, big advocate of all that sort of stuff.
Such an annoying truth.
It's
very inconvenient, but it's true.
Yeah, and speaking of that, now that you're a pro, Christel, you're gonna have to start thinking about the body work, recovery, all of that, all of the extras, the little 1%ers. But Logan, I guess it's probably quite specific to the person, but are there any kind of like recovery protocols that you like to, every client's foam rolling, every client's getting massages, or is there any kind of things that you like, acupuncture, anything?
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of that sort of tissue work and things like that. So for some people, and again, it's individual to each person. Like I'm very responsive to dry needling. I guess the more muscle you have, the needles get deeper and relax that underlying muscle, underlying tissue. Where some people, it's too much and it knocks them for a day, depending how aggressive their treatment is. Some people just like the deep tissue therapy. But I like people to do at least every second week. Opening up that muscle. I see a lot of problems with people get sore knees and things where often it's their ITB bands and that are just too tight, their hip flexors, and everything. Everyone says, "Oh, it's because I do leg press. It's because I do this," but they haven't had tissue work for 6 months. Then they have the work done, open up the legs, massive blood flow, recovery, and suddenly we're good. Yeah. So I try and have people do that every week or two. Again, I know it's more money, but it's obviously important. There's other ways of cutting back money, and if it's important enough to you, then you'll do it. Again, like you just said, if it's no treatment that week, is just things you can do yourself: foam rolling, stretching. Sorry. Most gyms will have even yoga, Pilates, things like that. Go and do sessions of that. Do that on your active recovery day.
Yeah, absolutely. Grab his massage gun, all of those little things.
Yeah, massage gun, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can get sponsored for this stuff too, Christel. Like, I mean, I don't know how crafty you want to get with it, but you can easily get these kind of things rolling. And what do you do at the moment? Do you do like good warm-ups? Like, what do you do for your body in terms of like preparing it for bodybuilding?
Right. I definitely am very much due to go for a massage or something remedial, because I'm the one that has got sore knees at the moment. So, yeah, so definitely need to go do that. But I have made it part of my routine that I get up every morning quite early, and I do a few just simple stretches. I stretch out my back, stretch out my legs, and shoulders and all the things. And I've got myself this kind of round, spiky ball, and I find that very, very helpful, especially for if you lean into it against the wall and you kind of get these just your warm weight muscles and just really get in there. Because I can get, I struggle with my shoulders quite a bit, where I lose strength in my shoulders and they're so painful that I can't even lift the dumbbell properly. But then I roll it with that ball and problem solved, because it transfers, right? So if there's enough back there, that's what's affecting the shoulder. So since I've been doing that, night and day difference. So you kind of pick up these little tricks along the way, but going for a proper remedial massage I think it's very hard to replicate that on your own. So from time to time, I definitely agree with Logan. If you can, it makes a big difference for sure.
Yeah, especially when you get a good one, when they know what they're doing and they get in right in there. I bet it's just amazing, isn't it? It's like the right feel. It hurts like a motherfucker. That's good. It's supposed to hurt, but it's not good.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone that you go to over there, Logan, that you want to shout out? Do you have any recovery people that you enjoy seeing on the Gold Coast?
Well, we're lucky enough. I have a little studio around the corner where we have my wife works out of, and our remedial girl Elle at Prehab. So shout out to them. So Christel and I both use them. Yeah. We also have infrared sauna and ice bath and stuff there as well, so people can book that privately just to use for one or two people at a time. So we have our little one-stop shop there, and we still probably don't utilize it enough. But yeah,
this is
we're like the Gold Coast. You don't have to drive too far to find a good specialist, and then it's just about finding someone who suits you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice. I like it. A little shout.
And again, try and maintain, not wait till it's been 8 weeks and you're getting those aches and pains back and then you're going. That's why every 2 weeks, even if it stretches to 3 or 4, but again, before you start having joint soreness or crazy tightness, or even worse, an injury.
That's why you said prehab, not rehab, hey?
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. And I'm definitely guilty of that. I'll be better about it this year. That is my utter goal for this year, staying on top of it.
And now we've got you saying it on video, so you can't be lying about that, girl. It's worth it. It's an investment.
It is. It really is. And it trickles down to everything else, because your training is better, then your body responds better. It's under less stress, less inflammation, so you're going to build better muscle. Everything goes in there. So you gotta see the importance of it and not just soldier through.
Yeah, I know it's easy to do though, isn't it? Everything's good, nothing to worry about.
It's not cheap, and the sport's not cheap, and there's more and more to pay for as you move along. I think a lot of people get into that and competing without touching on that part. So I always try and my initial sit down with someone who wants to compete but isn't like very familiar with it, is just going over, it's expensive. There's a lot of costs at the end, especially at the end. You may have to take time off work, may have to travel interstate, even internationally, even hair, makeup, tanning, bikini, all that sort of stuff adds up. So just trying to educate people on that stuff before we get too far along.
Yeah. including recovery as well. Add that on the list, guys. Put that in there.
Recovery.
Yeah. But you're not drinking, you're not partying, you're not you're not eating out. So we'll just, it's still expensive, but I mean, that will make it work. Weigh it up, pros and cons. I've got a question for both of you. How beneficial do you feel like it is to see each other in person? Because a lot of people do online coaching. Even I don't see Frank, and he's in Hamilton, but we don't see each other that much, like for physique check-ins and stuff. Do you both on your both ends find that really beneficial? And would you prefer that than like online coaching, or does it not really matter too much?
Well, I'll let you answer it.
I'll just say you go.
Well, okay then. It definitely. So I've done online coaching before. So I have a sampling of both worlds. Both work. Obviously, you can definitely for sure make both work. While you were traveling to Vegas, we did online coaching during that period and we made it work. So, but it really is, it makes a huge difference seeing in person and kind of, especially leading into show as well. Just him seeing me right there in the flesh, you can see everything because it's just, there's detail that you see or that goes missing on a video or a photo. So being in person, it does make a difference. And then Logan, he also does skin folds. So we do that kind of off season. We do that every 2 weeks, and then leading into comp, we'll start doing that every week. So we kind of ramp it up closer to a show. And he's so meticulous about that as well, because he can see body fat percentage, and then he can map out, okay, well, over these many weeks, this is exactly how we need to kind of drop you and the pace that we keep that by. And I feel that's genius. It's been so easy for me this break just as an athlete with you doing that. Over to you.
And just all the little extra things that come up.
Yeah.
That your memory gets jogged because you're talking about other things while you're in person. Yeah. It could be while you're posing. It could be, while you're sitting there. So all that stuff, I think definitely helps.
Yeah.
I could have taken my business online a million times years ago, but one, I don't feel I get the best out of my athletes that way. Two, I don't want to sit in front of a computer for 12 hours a day. I actually love being with people, and I still PT as well, so I train a lot of my athletes once or twice a fortnight. That way I can see that side of things and push them on that as well, and that usually keeps them going for another week. So I'm seeing them pose, train, obviously their check-in, skin fold data, mirror data. So there's so much more covered and feel so much more confident making decisions in that way. Obviously, online is great, and there's people that don't live near someone, live near a good coach and things like that. So, of course, it has its place. And it creates a different lifestyle for even the coach. But as Christel said, I like seeing, you can see it in a photo or a video, but it's only as good as the photo or video. So you can, I'm talking about fullness, condition. Somebody may look in condition in the photo and they might actually still be 2 weeks out when they rock up in person. Just little things like that. So I find it invaluable, especially at the tail end of competing. And obviously for competitors, not so much for lifestyle people, but for the competitors. And I think just being able to talk candidly in person and stuff like that, just you develop more of a relationship. Sometimes that's the role of a good coach, is adjusting to all those different relationships and be able to get the best out of that person,
Yeah.
And maybe just mentally, may not even be physically.
Yeah.
Just having their mind in the right spot and things like that. So, yeah, I still do it and I enjoy it. And, of course, I prep people online as well, even lifestyle people. I'm not picky, just whoever wants to work hard, and I'm happy to work with them.
Get it done, absolutely. And like I said, even when we did do it online, and obviously we had to do it online while I was in New Zealand, send good photos. Just, you can make it work. Be in good lighting. Don't fake the photos. Just send good photos and send videos, because I feel like if you send high quality videos, you can see more of that as well than a photo, and you can make it work, and you can go far.
Again, this comes back to being consistent with everything. Consistent with your check-in. Obviously, it was hard for us. We've done about 5 different countries and 20 different hotel rooms and things like that. But she always tried to get the best lighting, not like, oh, this will do. This will do.
Yeah.
Wear the same bikini, have your hair the same way. Just as many variables the same as consistent as possible.
I mean, there's times where I took photos for you, like you wouldn't know this, but beforehand, I moved to about 6 different spots in the house with all different lights and or windows and doors just to try and get a photo, because I've done it all this time, so I can kind of tell if the photo is consistent or not, like lighting wise, and I'll just try to get the best that I can and make it work with that. So as an athlete, you can do that as well to help out your coach.
Yeah, and you're right, videos are so much better, right? Because you can, like you said, fake a photo, like, and it's a silly thing to do because all you're doing is showing your best bit, you know, but and your coach is still going to know what you look like, even though you think it's the best angle or the best shot. You see, they're still going to know how conditioned you are anyway. But yeah, videos are really good to do, and I'm sure you probably request them a lot, Logan. And what do you do with like clients that aren't with you in person that can't do skin folds? Do you trust them to go to someone else, or do you get them to do like body scans, or do you just kind of leave that part off?
80% of the 85% of the time we just don't worry about it. I can still get enough of my own good data if they're giving me the right feedback and the right videos and stuff like that. Unless, like you said, if they really trust someone, if they've worked with someone before, then it definitely has its place for an extra bit of data as well.
Yeah, and with that data as well, that I found quite valuable with the way you do it. So I check in with an app every Sunday. I send in my check-in photos, and we see each other every second week. But in the app, I mean, the data that you ask from me is things like how's sleep been, you know, how much water have I been drinking, how's stress, how's fatigue, how's the energy, how's the recovery, all of these things. And I kind of, so every week he can also track the just the flow of how that's going. And then I think that also makes a big difference. If something is really out of whack, then he can just go back a little bit and see, well, okay, you've only been getting 4 hours of sleep, you know, for 3 weeks. Of course, whatever it is. Yeah. And I think so that makes a big difference as well. Yeah.
Yeah, generally the competitors, we check in every 2 weeks at first, and then it's every week from 10 weeks out. But as Christel said, with loading data and photos every weekend, or whatever their check-in day is, every week I should say. But I still have a skim over everything and make sure nothing's out of whack to the previous week. Yeah. Or we just have a quick message anyway. And then as things need to step up, that 10 to 12 weeks out, we do every week. And then my athletes in person, I might see 5 times in the 5 days before the show, stuff like that. So, and, you know, with her at the end, I was having videos morning, noon, and night, and then even more on the comp days as well. So,
yeah, comp day was frustrating.
It's ever evolving. It is. If a coach tells you like this is your plan for show day of the week out, then it might be a loose overview, but we don't know where we're going to be at that point.
No,
again, adapting to me, because I like specifics, you know. I'm like, what is the plan? What is going to happen? Because I want to prepare, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, well, the best I can give you is that it should be roughly this and this and this, but we shall see, and you just need to be okay with that. Yeah. Fine.
I think be prepared for anything. Like, 2 people underprepare. This one, we knew we were on fairly late, but we just take extra bags of rice or whatever you're eating. Just have overkill there. You can eat it after or throw it out. So many times, obviously I try and tell my athletes not to, but again, it'll slip their mind or whatever, and they don't go on till 3 hours later than they thought, and they've got no food there, or, you know, so be it. It's not easy to just go and grab something quickly on a show day that's appropriate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's little tips. Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of food, what did you eat after your pro win, Christel?
Well, okay, so we finished so late, so most places were closed anyway, and we were kind of just trying to find whatever was open, but we ended up finding this, of course, it's a burger, it's always a burger, but it was this kind of Korean chicken fried type of burger joint, and it was really good. Actually, it was awesome, considering that it was fried as well, because I genuinely don't actually like deep fried food. It doesn't sit great in me. So it was the only place that was open, so I'm like, okay, let's just go. But it turned out fine. It was delicious. It was fantastic. And then my bestie brought homemade Oreo cheesecake up for me as well. So when we got back to the room, I was so grateful. So we just celebrated with a cheesecake. And the next morning, went out to brunch. What better is brunch?
Yeah, brunch is good. Brunch is always a nice way to get some fun calories in, eh?
Yeah. I've been, avocado and toast. So typical, but it's so good.
It's good. We love that. It's still got the fats and the healthy carbs, all of those things. I had an IG question from Instagram. Someone asked, did you have a good feeling about the show? Like, did you have any kind of confidence about winning?
Right. Yes and no. So I throughout all of the shows I've done, I never go into a show being like, yeah, man, this is going to be my show. I've got it. Any of that. Like, I work hard and I hope for the best. But you never know what's going to happen on a day. All I knew is that I was showing up looking the best I've ever have in my entire career. I know that I made huge improvements. So for me, the win was already there in that I've completely surpassed any goals that I had for myself a year ago. So to me, I'm like, that's it. And I look at this for every show that I do as well. A loss to me, it's not really a loss because it is, but every show is a step on the ladder towards the one where you finally do win it. Because as long as you're improving from show to show, well, then you are bettering yourself and you're working your way up to when you do deserve that win. So that's kind of my mentality as well when I go into shows. So if it doesn't go my way, it's fine. I'm not devastated about it. It's fine. So I was just hoping for the best. I knew I was bringing the best I can, and it's just amazing that it worked out in my favor this time. But bikini it's subjective. You can't ever go into a bikini show like, I've got this link. Like, it doesn't work that way.
You're only as good as who you're standing next to and who turns up as well.
Yeah, that's it. And
people come from nowhere sometimes.
Yeah. And there's so many new, and this is the coolest thing as well. This year, there's been so many new competitors.
It looks like things are really stepping up over there. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the quality is getting so much better across the board. More competitors.
Yeah.
Even I can see that from over here.
Yeah. Not a talent. And I definitely have to give a big shout out for the other girls that were in the overall with me as well. Madison, Georgia, Ella, honestly, just top notch. I mean, all of them looked absolutely great, and it was an honor to stand up there next to them. And I'm grateful for the challenge because they made me work for it, and I couldn't have asked for a better show. So thank you, girls. It was really, really cool.
It was cool. It was such a good lineup of girls up there. I was like, this is so good, the best in New Zealand. We also had that natural show earlier, so we had the good people for that.
And congratulations to Lily. That is so cool that she won her card. She also improved so massively from last year to this year. Night and day difference. Her and her coach Tom, they're cooking it well.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job. Do you know who, Logan, do you know who Lily is? Have you seen her?
I did see Lily's photos and whatever from the day. Yeah, she looked great. Yeah.
She's awesome. Hey, she's another good one for us. You two, both of two awesome bikini pros for the day. So pumped.
Touching on that though is just what I tell my athletes, because some of them get a little bit ahead of themselves, and we all want to win. So I want to win, I just want to win. The rest is a waste of time, and I'm like, that's the wrong attitude. Like, winning is all the stuff you said, but the first stage is just getting to the stage. That's win number one. Win number two is being better than last time if it's not your first time. And that's why it's obviously good to get there the first time. And then anything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, too many people then say they want to win. Then they even get second and they're so disappointed, like it's such a complete failure. And you're like, you just got second in whatever the division may be, which is great, you know. I think people set themselves up for failure a little bit too much, you know, like, yeah, we all want to win. Of course we want to win, but it's not obsessing over that and looking at it for the bigger picture.
Yeah, just enjoy the sport, hey, and it'll happen when it's going to happen. And if you love it, you'll keep working on it, and it'll only make you hungrier if you're passionate. You know, it shouldn't make you feel too down. It should make you like light your fire a little bit. Hey,
absolutely.
You a little bit. Did you watch? Like I covered a couple of the shows, Christel, but did you see some of the overall winners for bikini throughout the year or throughout the season? And were you at all like concerned? Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever go, oh, she looks pretty good? Or like, does that not really cross your mind too much?
No, so I love that. Like, I want competition to be there, because the better they are, the more they make me work for it. And that is satisfying, because then the win is that much sweeter as well when you finally get to it. So I was looking at the athletes and I'm like, yes, that's awesome. She looks great. You know, that's exciting to me. So for me, I don't really feel intimidated in that way. It kind of excites me, because I'm like, yeah, man, competition is great. So, and then if they win or somebody else wins it over me, they deserved it. And so then that's happiness for them. They deserve that win. Well done. It's up to me to go back and work harder, right? Yeah.
What a cool mindset you've got. She's a pro. She's ready for it now, aren't you? You've got that pro mentality. Love it. If you didn't get your pro card this year, would you have competed in IFBB Australia next year, or would you have come back home for it? What would you have done?
That would have been hard, but it would have been nice to compete here as well, because there's so many shows. So I think I would have definitely taken advantage of that opportunity. It'd be easy to do both, because it's the both worlds. Why wouldn't you? And the other side, I mean, being a pro now, you have to travel to go and compete. So to me as well, I was saying, like, if I don't get the pro card, that's fine, because again, I love competing, so it's fine. I would have just done the local shows, and I'm here, so do here. I can easily go back to New Zealand, do some there, you know, but that's okay. It worked out otherwise. So now we look through whatever is coming up.
Actually, let's ask you that now. That was in from an IG question anyway. I was going to obviously ask you that, but everyone else started asking. So I was like, okay, we'll pop that in. When and where are you planning on doing your first pro show? Or I might just add something to that. What would be your ideal pro show? Do you have any that you like love to watch, that you would love to get into?
Man, this is going to be such an unsatisfying answer. I'm sorry, everybody. But first off, we have to wait for the calendar to come out so we can pick a show. And I do need to pick a show that falls inside of my term holidays. So timing, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. And also, I'm leaving it to coach to tell me when I'm ready, and so we'll be working on that. Location wise, there's all the dream shows. Of course, competing in America is the gold standard, and would absolutely love to do that. Close by, Japan is right there, Hawaii is right there, New Zealand is right there. Come on, New Zealand, please. So yeah, if it's coming down to cost and location, these shows that are kind of on this side of the world would be a great way for me to get started and do that first show. If we can rally up a team and maybe go to America, it might be on the cards.
Nice. So you're hoping for next year, or are you just going to wait and see possibly the year after?
I'm really hoping for next year. I mean, life happens, but I'm really hoping for next year. I want to get up there as quickly as possible, so that I can go and compare myself to the pros, and we can see, okay, well, now next to them, what do we need to work on? Where are we going?
Yeah.
And I don't think she has to work on much to be really competitive. Like, we want to bring up the upper glutes a little bit, always working on waist size. I think her delts and things are already there. So there's not too much that we need to improve, therefore not needing to take too long. It's not like we're an undersized bodybuilder that needs 10 kilos, you know. So we can jump up there sooner rather than later and keep checking how we fit and improving it. And whether that's mid to end of next year, basically.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Stay tuned. I'm sure you'll share bits and pieces maybe when you've got something logged in. Would you share something on social media? Let all your Kiwis know. Yeah,
I'm definitely. I guess I've been a little bit under the radar, and I'm gonna try and be better about that, and share the journey, and just take everyone along for the ride. I think that would be really, really cool. So I want to be better about that and actually get on IG and share all the things for sure. Yeah.
But you also don't have to do that as well. You know, like I feel like the pressure sometimes can be a lot for some people, or just because you've got nursing to do now, you've got enough on your plate, you know. But as long as you come on the pod and chat to me about it, everything is everything is good. We'll filter it into the country through this channel, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
I love it. Let me ask you both, just before we sort of wrap it up. I've been stealing your time for a bit, but I want to ask you both about Olympia. Logan, what were your thoughts on it? Did you watch Olympia? I'm sure you probably did, but what do you think about Samson winning? Because that's your division. Were you stoked with the whole show? It was pretty cool, hey, the 60th?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. As I said earlier, I've been 4 or 5 times before, and I hadn't been for 5 years. So it was at the Resort World, which was, I think that hotel was only 2 years old, so that was cool. They had all the amateurs there as well. And yeah, they went the extra mile, being the 60th anniversary. A couple of Sydney Gillian, Seabum, all retiring, so it was good to see that. I had silver passes, so I was only like 10 rows back, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Samson, I think, was just the most consistent over the 2 days. It was pretty close between the top 3 there. Yeah, I love it. I love going to watch, and you know, if you're a fan of the sport, then it's something you should do no matter what. Like, if you get the chance, get over there, be amongst it, watch it. If you're still competing, obviously it's great for motivation, things like that. Yeah.
Nice. Who's your favourite bodybuilder?
I don't know, actually. I just love condition. I just rainy, hard condition. So whoever's bringing that, I like the underdogs as well, so I like seeing Martin Fitzwater move up from nowhere, especially after he was rejected from being in the Arnold Classic earlier in the year, to then place 4th in the Olympia and arguments for 3rd. So that was pretty cool. I like that sort of stuff. Like Christel said earlier, I like underdogs and picking the hardest show possible, and none of this dodging stuff. Like, I get satisfaction out of watching people or myself doing the hard way, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And this show in Prague, you're going to watch a little bit of that if you can, with Seabum and Martin, and Seabum doing the Open.
Yeah, it's very cool.
How exciting is this? What a year.
I'm glad he's got the balls to do that even.
Right?
You know, that it's not going to be a tarnish on the record, that it's all positive, and that he's happy to do that, and he wants to do it for himself by the sounds as much as for the fans. And then you got Sean Clarita in there as well, who's 212 and a little shorty. You know, there's going to be nearly a foot difference in height between Sean Clarita and Seabum.
So good.
And then everyone else in the middle. So it'll be cool to see.
Yeah, pretty cool. I'm going for
good that guys are doing that sort of stuff now. You know, like, I feel like people held back a lot in the past, and now, you know, they back themselves and do it for a bit of fun and stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Anymore, right? It's not like all, you know, you can just have a good time and just enjoy it.
They all train together, and, you know, there's banter, but they're all supportive of one another, which, like you said earlier, I think is happening worldwide these days.
Yeah, because it's not up to the athletes at the end.
Yeah. You know, people are like, oh, what if you've got a competitor against each other? And it's like, well, they're still doing the best they can do, you know, and, you know, there's times when people used to stop talking to each other because they knew they were in the same division, and you're like, it's not a boxing fight. You know,
it's not even up to
the stage aside, yeah.
They can't change the
It's good to see everybody, more camaraderie and stuff. And even I talk to those guys in the States that I've only met once or twice, and still talk to them, you know, every few weeks and things like that. It's good that we've got that, that we have social media and that for the positives in that way.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool. Yeah.
You know, you make lifelong friends from bodybuilding and competing.
You're right.
And what
all the best people I know, I've been meeting them obviously more, but yeah, the people I meet through the sport is just, it's the best thing.
People,
best thing out of the sport, for sure.
Seems a bit weird to make your best friends, but it's just how the sport is. I think it's just an outside view. You wouldn't understand it, but once you're in it, you know. What do you think about the Olympia, Christel? What do you think about Laura Lee winning?
She said she deserved it. She brought it. She brought the package they were looking for. Like, she nailed, and we all knew that was going to happen. She just needed to nail her fullness, her conditioning, just finally just hit that sweet spot today, because they were all waiting basically for her to bring that. So kudos to her that she did that. She brought it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I can't wait to see who turns up next year for bikini, because there's a few missing. So
It was a weird year. It was bizarre because Jennifer wasn't there. There's a few. Janet isn't there. So what a bizarre mix up. But it worked out for Lauralee, and she brought a great package. She definitely deserved it. Even if everyone else showed up, she still brought that look that they were looking for from her, finally not being over-conditioned or imbalanced with two big glutes.
Having the balance was the biggest part for her, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She kind of brought it all in. We'll see what happens next year, because she'll be trying to keep her win, and she might bring the 5. We'll see, because my girl's Jen Dory.
Yeah.
Game over. She'll be back next year and game over. I have it in the bag. She's too good. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Logan? You do watch a bit of the bikini as well? Do you like Lauralee's physique?
Yeah, but I liked it when she was a little bit almost more muscular. Again, I like condition and a bit of muscle, so I like seeing the European girls and things like that where they seem to judge a bit harder, a bit more muscular. I think this year's Olympia was pulled back a little bit, which that's cool. But so I like Maureen's condition, Jen Dory's overall look. They're some of my favourites. Yeah.
Nice. It'll be a big mix-up next year, I think, and just a whole bunch of new people that have already qualified, Romania, all these. Yeah, so it'll be cool to see. It's always fun to watch and keeps us going. But next will be Arnold, so I'm excited for that first.
I think that's why, even as a pro, like as we spoke about before, you want to choose what we think the hardest shows, but you've got to check. You've got to do the shows that maybe more reward your shape, size, balance. I think the Americans are obviously just a balance of everything. The European shows tend to judge a little bit harder, a little bit more muscular. Probably the same in Brazil as well. Plus the emphasis on if you don't have huge glutes, you're in trouble. So some of that, Japan, they might judge a little bit smaller. So I think you've got to do better at first and maybe be noticed is choose shows or country shows that suit your physique the best as well.
Yeah, play into that.
So it shouldn't really come into it. The judging is the judging, but it does, and it comes again to the fact of who you stand next to and so on. You don't want to be the odd fish out that has you're equally good, but you have a total different physique to the others.
And
even for the amateur girls, choosing that sort of route as well. If you want to go compete, there's so many amateur Olympias now and Arnolds and that. It's so cool that you can go and do those shows, but be mindful of which ones you're heading to if it's about having a better result. Like choose those shows where the judging criteria is a little bit more suited to your physique.
Get a good coach who knows what they're talking about, like Logan. Get someone who knows what they're doing. They've done it. Speaking of, thanks for your time, but guys, I will let you go. But Logan, are you taking on any clients for 2025, 2026? Is 2025 too late? Tell me if you're taking on people.
No, absolutely. Always willing to help people that are working hard. And, obviously I love helping competitors, but I try not to overload myself too much just so I can give the most to everybody as well. But there is places on the team for even Season A, but I believe for Season A in Australia, April shows we're only 21 or 22 weeks away. So that would have to happen now. And I presume New Zealand's the same sort of dates. But then obviously plenty of room for the end of the year. Hopefully take a team over to Vegas again, another 5 or 6 athletes. And then we have 3 athletes making their IFBB Pro debuts. So that'll be cool. So we'll see what shows we can travel to around the world and even take some amateurs on for those shows as well. And we also, my wife is an FMG Pro, so she's an FMG Fitness Pro. We still prep anybody from any division, so if you're natural, guys, girls, wanting to get involved, at the end of the day, I can work with anyone. It's just who wants to put the work in. We'll get you there. So we have a lot of pros in FMG and stuff as well, and a lot of athletes in that federation. But generally that's it. That's my rule. You work hard, then I'll do as much for you.
Love that. Love it. You shouldn't be doing bodybuilding if you can't work hard anyway, guys. Come on. There's other things you can do, No, I love that. That's awesome, Logan. And like I say, I'll leave leave your description, your link in the description. So if anyone wants to reach out, they can. Christel, have you got any sponsors you want to shout at? Anyone you want to shout? Anything you want to say before we finish it up today?
No major sponsors. I am wearing Club Athletica. And if anyone wants a little discount, use my code, Christel10. But other than that, shout out to my amazing coach and shout out to Rhiannon. Fantastic for, both of them has led me to a big win and will continue to lead me to my next show. So I really just couldn't shout out anyone more than my team.
Oh, I love that. And you'll be waiting for your email from Bombshell Sportswear about your sponsorship, right?
What a dream.
When you get to that Olympia stage, it'll be waiting for it, I guarantee it. When it happens. Oh, well, thank you guys so much. Honestly, Logan, Christel, thank you so much for joining me. It's been so good to chat to you both today. We're so lucky. Everyone's so spoiled to have you both on. And everyone listening, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things for the podcast. Support the pod with the links below. Check out Logan's page, check out Christel's page, check out everything. And whenever the amazing pro show happens, I'm sure we'll all hear about it then, hey, babe? Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your time. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Hey, thanks, guys. All right, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.